Hi guys, my name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. Or whatever you guys want to talk about. So I asked you guys what questions you want me to answer on my Facebook and my Twitter, which you can follow, links down below, shameless plug, and I decided to answer them because that's what a Q&A is. My first question is from E. Adeline, I believe your name is. She asks, or he asks, what is the scariest horror novel you've ever read, and do you read many books in that genre? I normally read non-fiction and I guess it's kind of scary, but the scariest horror novel I've ever read definitely has to be Gerald's Game, which is by Stephen King, and it's really creepy. It's about, I don't know if I want to ruin it, it's pretty much about a person who gets isolated by a strange situation and then kind of goes into hallucinating. It's a really cool book and it's actually going to be made into a movie, so I'm really excited about that. I've got two questions from Danny Prism. Danny, you're awesome. I actually always talk to Danny on Twitter. If you guys have Twitter, please add me and talk to me because none of my Australian friends use Twitter and I need you guys. I need you international folk to help me. So Danny's asked me, has there ever been a movie where I had to push myself to get through? It would have to be Human Centipede 2, believe it or not. I have a really funny story about this. My mum and I are both very strange human beings, and I introduced her to Human Centipede 1. I told her it was a really disturbing movie, and so she watched it. I don't know why. And then I was living with her at the time, and then number 2 came out. So I was just like, hey, let's watch this. Anyway, halfway through the movie, it's just getting really bad, really intense, and I was just like, Mum, I don't think we should be watching this. Like, what is the point? I'm more awkward because my mum's in the room watching Human Centipede 2 with me, and then she says, no, Emma, we need to get through this. Danny also asks, what is the most violent, blood everywhere type movie I've ever seen? That has to be the remake of Evil Dead, just because it actually, I believe, has the most blood in any horror movie. That is a huge statement, but I know it had like 5 times or 3 times the amount of blood as the original, and the original is very bloody, and by the end scene, she's literally being like rained on by blood. I don't think there's anything more bloody. Gory, maybe. Bloody, probs not. Random Ross asked me if I had a clown alter ego, what would I call myself? I have no idea. What are even clowns called? Like Mr. Bubbles or something? I'll go with Mrs. Bubbles. If you guys have a better clown name for me, maybe like a killer clown name, let me know in the comments down below. And now to my Facebook. Matt asked a couple of questions. Love Matt. When I first watched the original Scream, was I surprised by the reveal of who the killers were? Yes, I was, definitely. I think I'm too distracted by Gale Weathers though to like pay attention to anything else that's going on in those movies. Number 2, he asked me, I know what you did last summer series or Scream series. Which one did I like better? I know what you did last summer. I do love Scream. I really love Scream. But I love Jennifer Love Hewitt. I love Sarah Michelle Gellar. So bad and so good at the same time. And it's actually quite scary. I mean, whatever, I think it's cool. And Matt also asked me what is my favorite candy bar, which is a chocolate or a lolly here. It's not called a candy bar, but I'll settle for that. It is a caramel koala, which is a chocolate shaped as a koala with caramel inside, or caramel, whatever you guys want to call it. His last question is, who is my favorite horror movie villain? And that has to be Edward Lionheart, Vincent Price in Theatre of Blood. Aaron also asked me a few questions. He asked me firstly, American Horror Story, what is my favorite season? It has to be Freak Show. Really strange, right? I just really liked the characters in Freak Show, and I like Emma Roberts. He also asked me if I was a fan of The Last House on the Left, original or remake. I was a fan of the original. I remember liking that when I saw it, but I don't think I've seen the remake. And his last question is, what was the first movie I ever saw in theaters? Which would have to be like a Disney movie, maybe like Hunchback of Notre Dame. Ryan asks me, if I were stranded on an island and could only have 3 movies for me to watch forever, what would they be? You haven't specified horror movies. Haha. Probably It, because it's quite long. I guess that would count as a mini-series, but people count it as a movie, so whatever. I'd have to pick some kind of documentary that would really help me escape my own life, living on an island, being very lonely. Probably Amy, I really like that documentary, you guys know that. And then my last movie would have to be Home Alone, because I love that movie. It's so good. And then I've got like a comedy, like a really sad movie, and a horror movie, and then I have all of them, you know? David asked me what is my favorite horror genres and why. I like paranormal a lot, and that pisses a lot of people off, but I really do. I like horror thrillers. I love when there's a creepy stalker type character. Like that's why I love thrillers. I love stalkers. People become obsessed. I really like that thought. I don't know why. I guess it's not a genre, but I would say I really like South Korean horror movies, but that is kind of paranormal and ghost and haunted, cursed, all that kind of stuff I really like. David also asks if I have a favorite horror movie or a favorite franchise. I do like Puppet Master. I think that's really cool. I like Hellraiser, but I don't really have a favorite, to be honest. But my favorite horror movie, if I had to pick one, would definitely be Pet Sematary. It just ticks all the boxes for me. Mrs. Newman asks, what is my favorite book, horror or not? My favorite book I've ever read is Ouija, which is by Stoker Hill, I believe. It's about the psychology behind Ouija boards, if you do them, and it's about the negative effects and the positive effects, so it's really interesting and I really recommend it to anyone. My mate Tyler asked me a few questions. Number one being that I can remember, what is the first horror movie that gave me nightmares? It would have to be Leprechaun. I remember seeing that, like running into the room when I was a kid, and that really creeped me out. I think I saw like the fingers get chopped off and the green goo come out. It's really creepy. If a studio gave me enough funds to direct a high budget horror film, where in the world would it be located and for what period would it take place? That is a sick question. I know they have done a few little horror movies on the Loch Ness, but how cool would it be to actually do a real hardcore, in-depth one that's more built on tension and the build-up than, you know, CGI or effects? I would love to do that. Obviously, I would want to do this in this time period. He also asked me, what horror film do I think would be fun to see as a musical? You want to pick something really gory, maybe like Hostel, because that would be really interesting. I'm gonna go with Hostel on this one. I think that would be pretty cool. And my last question is, out of any genre, which film has your favorite on-screen death? I would have to go with the death from Final Destination, maybe the glass smashing that kid. That's pretty fucked up. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Stay spooky. Bye. Also, just quickly, I wanted to do a shout out for Stefan Moon. I don't know why he asked me to do a shout out, but I thought it was funny. And so here's your shout out, Stefan. I hope you're having a great day.